And we're back.
And if you're joining us right now, we are getting our third conversation started. And as we said before the break, we're getting an update from Autism Belize into an exciting new fundraiser and what all they have been doing. And we are joined by the founder and executive director of Autism Belize, Christy Almeida. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me this morning.
How are you doing?
I am tired, but I'm okay. You know, a lot of people are saying we haven't seen much of you since April, but honestly, since April, it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
We've had so many organizations, ministries, groups have been calling and saying, you know, can you come train us? We want a sensitization workshop. How can we help?
Yeah.
It's really been wonderful, the reception from the community, and I'm talking about at large. Like, we just did a training for a group in PG. And Zoom is absolutely wonderful because we're reaching so many people, but it has been a constant go. So we haven't been a lot in the news, but it has been really, really busy.
Well, you just wrapped up your shadow
Our Parapro training.
Can you say it again?
Parapro. Pro. It's paraprofessional is the word.
Paraprofessional.
We're calling them parapros.
Okay. And they are shadows. They assist children with autism or children with special needs within the school system.
Persons with autism.
Okay.
Because, well, we graduated 32, but they can work with young up to old. So one of our paraprofessionals started their new job and they're working with a young adult who, he's smart, he's brilliant, wants to start his own business, do all of these great things, but because of some of the side effects of having a anxiety or dealing with focusing and whatever, he now has a buddy that's going to help him navigate starting his own business. And so don't think this is just for children. I've also had parents that are, their kids are in high school. They do well, they're going to some of the top schools in this country, but they're struggling with online and focus and everything else. So a paraprofessional can go in, and it's not that they need help with the work, they can do the work, but we got to make sure that they're signing on, that they're focusing, that, we're doing what we need to do when we need to do it. And on deadlines, and when parents are working, that's where Parapro can step in. So you're looking at, they're more than a caregiver. I'm not hiring you to feed my child or bathe him. I'm hiring you to teach them how to bathe themselves, or go to school with them and help them with that, or help them in society, because some of our kids are brilliant and can work and can find jobs, but might be having issues with some of the social things. And that's where your Parapro can come in. They can be a teacher, they can be a mentor, a coach, or a friend.
And this is such a important, we didn't have people trained to do this before. We had very kind and thoughtful people who would take a position like this and help someone in school, but they didn't necessarily know the how-to.
And that's the key, because we graduated 32 people, and some of them were parents who just want to learn more about taking care of their kids. Some of them are teachers who are working with special needs kids or whatever, but needed the guidance. And then there's some who are looking for the job. We had this one teacher that came up from PG every single Saturday just for this course for a month. She came out, did the course or whatever, and afterwards she's like, I have 6 students that I'm working with. It's been really hard with the distance learning. I've been looking for this, whatever. And she says, anything else you can help me with? And these are the people we are, because you're saying they're kind, they want to help. They have been helping. But what we were able to do was sort of give them some really good tips and stuff on evidence-based practices. And the course was really information heavy, was that. And that's the thing, I haven't been advertising for our next round, but people are coming to the website and signing up. I can run this course right now in Belmopan with easily 30 people, in PG with at least 20 people, right now with those who have been signing up saying, when is it happening? We're debating on how to do it because of COVID numbers, right? Part of the training, because it's so information, and we're getting up, I'm going to get up and say, okay, this is if a child is having a meltdown, you don't want to put your hands like this, you want to do this, you want to do that. And so some of it is you want to be there, right? Like, we had them showing them how to build sensory things and what to do and everything. It's so in person that Zoom is wonderful. And if we have to go that way, we'll modify the course to go that way. But I really want to keep it in person. So we're waiting again. We've given ourselves to October 15th to see what's going on with the numbers. If we see the numbers go, then we're immediately going to start in Belmopan. I think PG is after that, Orange Walk. I mean, the numbers of requests for it. And and the jobs are coming.
Yeah.
I had a parent yesterday call me and say, I'm looking for someone, da-da-da. So we've had several people already
Well, see,
hired.
that's the thing, because, you know, yeah, and as Marlene said, like, this was something, you know, that people weren't necessarily trained for in the past, but clearly the response shows that this has been a need that people have needed to meet. And what do you think, do you think that do you think it's like, do you think that now that there wasn't awareness of it in the past, or is it just that, or is it that there was, but they just didn't know how to get to the correct or the best resources?
One of the most comments I get from parents after a support group, when I meet with them, whatever, is that now is the first time they're feeling comfortable talking about these things. You know, like all of a sudden, it's not that there wasn't an issue before or whatever, and yes, COVID has definitely exacerbated some of these issues, but there is a certain level of comfort for a lot of our parents now about coming out. They recognize they're not alone, they're not struggling. And so it's not that this is just a sudden need, it's something that they've been struggling with there. I think that we've just highlighted it and you know, I'm really loud. So we just made sure that people are listening and that you're hearing this. I did a disability inclusion training with the Belize City Council Youth Shadow Council. I mean, really good discussions. And one of the things I always focus on is inclusion. It's a quote, but it's basically saying we have to stop thinking of it as a noun, right? Something we have. It has to be about something we do. So don't tell me that you have an inclusive school because you have one child with Down syndrome. Or you have one child with cerebral palsy. Great, wonderful. I'm really, really glad about that. But it has to be something we continuously do. It's not just about hiring that one person. It's what else are we doing? And parapros are like that ramp for people with wheelchairs, right? It's giving just that little bit of access, doing modifications and accommodations for kids in schools. That's your ramp. Right there. It's just getting them into the classroom. We just want them to have that same level playing field. And so
it also starts early with breaking the idea of dependency that can happen, I would imagine.
One of the biggest things we teach during the Parapro is their job as a paraprofessional is to work themselves out of a job. A successful Parapro will be working with many different kids over their terms of business, because the idea is you go in and you're going to teach them the tools to be self-sufficient. The idea is if I'm hiring a parapro for my son, it's not that I think that he's going to need this assistance straight through to high school. The goal is that we're going to teach him how to focus and how to work and how to do these things so that I'm not needed anymore and I can go work with another child or youth or young adult. And that is your goal. I mean, we've said it several times during the training. Your goal is to work yourself out of a job. And that is true. Now, with saying that, there are going to be some kids that have that level of need that can always use the support. But those are in a minority. You find we don't have the statistics here, but in most countries, kids that need minimal support, that's about 90% of special needs kids. It's only about 10 that will find themselves needing a lot of more significant support, sort of like my son. He falls in that sort of range because, you know, he's just an overachiever. But that is a small number. The majority of our kids are going to need some sort of support, modifications, accommodations, but not necessarily this significant thing that's going to make things difficult or whatever. It's just that little bit of aid. And by giving them that's your ramp. You're getting them into the classroom, you're going to get them into the workplace, you're going to get them into society. And we can't just leave our kids on the sideline. We just can't.
Now, I mean, you moved back to Belize, and I think that was part of what got your movement started and even this training, because you were looking for a professional, and now you've moved to a point where you're helping to train through the organization Autism Belize. We were talking before about how things are going. You're trying to do some fundraising for the organization. Tell us a bit about how you've been funding your programs and how you plan to raise funds now.
Right. Well, when I launched this was April 2020. So it was the height of, we just shut down. All the activities we'd planned, we moved online. And we started, and there's an evolution, because I started with Facebook Live things. And I realized people weren't going to ask questions there. They didn't want to talk. They didn't want to be known that they have a child with it or that they're struggling. And then we moved into Zoom. And our Zoom training started with 12, 15 people. And this summer we ran, oh my gosh, like 6 over the summer, and I had 80, 60. So I went from parents to teachers coming in to now I'm getting students who are looking at going in the field. One of our graduates from the Parapro course is a high school student who wants to become an occupational therapist.
Wow.
And she wanted to do this because that's her goal. And one of our top scorers in our assessment, actually. So we've watched the trainings evolve from all of this. And up until April 2021, we operated on a $0 budget. We had absolutely no funds. This was all parents volunteering. Everything was done for free. Everything is still basically done for free. The Parapro course has a small fee, but we did get some scholarships to cover. Some people wanted to look for jobs that needed it. But that's mainly because our Parapro handbook was 30 pages of stuff that we had to get printed, that kind of material. But we've been operating, it's all voluntary, there's no paid staff, and it's been done like that. But there are no expenses. I was saying, you know, that we're traveling now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting calls about going to do a training in banking, this or whatever. Gas is like gold these days, you know? And so there are some costs like that that are, we got a couple donations and stuff over April, not because we asked. These were companies that approached us and said, how can we help or whatever. So we did get some small donations there. But now we've got to look at fundraising. The need is there. It's something I don't like at all. You know, you're going to call me and say, oh, can you come in and speak to the school, or can you help with, yesterday we had the conversation with human development about training their social workers. I'm all for it. But yeah, now there's some costs involved, and we've got to look at it, and it's not my strong point.
But you came up with a creative
But
idea.
I didn't. This is so not me, and it's like it's not my strong point. I had a friend from like Infant 1 SCE that just dated myself. Don't worry about it. She's an artist. She's from Keecocker, but she's living in Canada right now, and she has a bunch of sand from Keecocker. And she made these little bracelets. We call them Pebbled, which is a little weird, but bear with me here. A pebble goes through a lot with the sand, the waves. They're trying to wear them down. And I think our kids are like that. Our kids are forced so much there. We're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And they've got to stand out. And every one of our kids are unique and they're different. And what I love about this is because it's filled with the sands from Keecocker, everyone is different. We've got the colors from the Caribbean Sea. It's green and blues. And she did this on her own because she knows people who have kids on the spectrum. She's from Keecocker and she knows there's families out there. And 100% of the proceeds are coming to Autism Belize. So we're selling them here in the country for $25, but they're on Etsy, websites and everything that she's selling it in Canada and the US as well. But it's amazing. I think they're really cool. They're unique. They're different. They're a small little thing, but they could make a great little gift for a teacher on Teacher's Day, or, you know, a stocking stuffer.
I was just going to say Christmas coming up, KK's coming up.
Exactly. And
Or just
everyone
being
is different.
able
So I
to-
feel like it really highlights everything there is to know about autism, right? The
It's
uniqueness
also
and the struggle.
support. I mean, if you see somebody with, and if they don't know you're involved with Autism Belize, I would know how.
I know.
You see them with it, you'd know you
okay,
have an
this
ally.
is someone who's going to be accepting of our differences
Or
and our
it-
kids' behavior and everything
Or
else.
it can be a conversation starter.
Absolutely,
True.
absolutely. And it's an artist that just reached out and said, Christy, I want to help. And I was thinking about this, and she sent them. And I think for me, that's been the best thing about Autism Belize and everything. It's how many of the companies, of people just reach out and say, how can I help? You know, and that they want to. And I think that just shows that we are accepting as a society. We just sometimes just don't understand. You know, and so it's really cool, and it's our first real thing we're selling. So hey, you know, it's baby steps around here, but we've
Well,
got
you
it
know,
there.
people are always looking for opportunities, one, to show that they're in support, and maybe they couldn't give a tablet, you know, when there was
Exactly.
the need for that, but they can pick up something like this, and, you know, what we say in Belize, one full basket.
Exactly. I mean, we've given out, 16 tablets with our communication app so far, and we've got a bunch more coming up soon, maybe by the end of the month, to give out. And it's just been like that. That's all been one fill basket. People are just trying to help whichever way they can. And that's how we have been able to keep operating for these 2 years doing what we do, because people have just been kind, welcoming, accepting, and that's what we want from our society.
So the Pebbled bracelets go for $25.
Yes.
And as you said, people can get it on Etsy, but if you're in Belize,
You
want
just
to get
go
it?
to autismbelize.org. You can pay via eCash or transfer money into account. Once we get the payment, you can pick it up. We're working with Gearbox on the highway, so you can just go and pick them up from there once you've gotten your receipt for payment. So, electronic world, man.
I know.
Pretty cool, huh?
All right. Yeah. And for parents who, once again, hear you and are thinking of maybe I should just reach out to other parents, what's the difference you've seen from the quiet, shy community you met 2 years ago to what you have now?
We had our last parent support group meeting, and I was really happy at how it went. We do it the last Saturday of every month at 6 o'clock. We had over 20 parents, and the engagement. You had in the beginning with our first Zoom that keeping the cameras off, it was really quiet. It's hard to get, right? And you do that with any support group. You kind of go, well, what's it going to do for me? Why do I need it? And then you've got those that are coming now, and right away they get on and like, let me tell you what my son is doing now, or this is going great, or oh my God, I have not slept in days. How do you do this, right? How do you do this? Or I'm struggling with potty training like you do. And it's amazing the help you can get from other parents who are living through it, and that can share and say, oh, I tried this. Oh, yeah, that didn't work for me. And then another person said, oh, try this. Oh, I haven't done that yet. I'm going to try that the next time. And so it is a really casual environment. It is just all parents.
Is it only for children with autism?
No, we have a parent who is extremely active and supportive of us, who has a son with Down syndrome. We have a couple who have children who are visually impaired.
Okay.
Several of our parents haven't gotten a diagnosis yet, but see some form of developmental delay, which may or may not be autism, but they're there, or just some of them who've had behavioral issues and say, okay, they did the assessment and it's not, but they're struggling with this, and they know we're talking about sleep issues or behavior issues or hyperactivity or whatever it is. And so it really is a place where there's no judgment. It's sort of like, what happens there stays there, but you can just share or sit there and listen and kind of know that you're not alone. Studies show that parents with children on autism, moms that have kids with autism, have similar stress levels as soldiers who have seen combat. You're talking about mental health. Mental health is a huge component for our community. For the caregivers who are dealing with this and the stress of wondering the future and what can we do, especially in a country where we don't have a lot of services. And then our kids are 60 to 70% more likely to be affected by anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. These are all things that they are more likely to develop at some point during their life, OCD. All of these mental health issues are kind of comorbidities with autism. So at some point, you're going to hit puberty and you might be dealing with aggression or depression right now with COVID. And so a lot of it comes hand in hand, and having that support and being able to talk and know that we're not there to judge you. We're just here to listen. And if we have advice, we're going to try and give it. So
all they have to do is go to Autism Belize website and find out when the next support group meets.
It's the last Saturday of every month at 6 o'clock. And once you reach out, we send you the Zoom link and you join. Keep your camera on or off, whatever you feel comfortable with. And we get people now. Last meeting, we had someone from Jamaica. We had someone from Trinidad. We're just becoming this sort of Caribbean support group, but it's great.
Well, we have a unique parenting style in the Caribbean too, so that will help a lot.
Oh yeah, no,
we'll have that conversation
we've had
another
games
time.
night with a Jamaica parent support group, and we did like special needs bingo and stuff, and all the competitions. But what happens there stays there, so I'm not telling any more details.
All right.
But it was a lot of fun.
We are out of time, but we did want to find out more about your Pebble bracelets and how people can show their support financially and also by wearing it to let others know that they do support.
Yes.
So please do check it out. Thank you so much for coming in,
Thank you.
Christy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take that final break. When we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.